Welcome to the Mixed Emotions podcast. This is your host, Mihir Oak.
Welcome back to the Mixed Emotions podcast, where we talk about the seen and the unseen, the BTS behind the unseen, and a lot of nuances that you don't see on a regular basis, and lot of context behind decision making and thought processes that are involved behind everything that we may take for granted. We talk about failures, we talk about journeys, we talk about business, talk about mixed emotions, we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about marketing, plethora of things that require actual experience, actual gut to make a particular decision and what somebody may go through. Today we're joined by somebody who has, by Nitin Kanchan. Nitin, thank you so much for coming onto this platform, giving us and me the time to share your journey. You have more than 35 years of experience. You've worked as an angel investor, an investment banker. You ran your own business with 400, 500 people. You've worked across the globe. You've worked in Dubai and Bahrain and Sweden and New York and Mumbai and offices in Bangalore and Africa. And it's crazy what you've done. I'm sure that I've told you this before also, and I'm telling you now again that you should come up with a book on your experiences. It'll help much more. But how do you start when you were 22, 23 years old? How did you, first of all, did I get your introduction correct or did I make any mistakes? Would you want to change anything more? Would you want to add something? Tell us.
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure to be here on your platform. I think it's a much needed multi-dimensional interface that you have now created. And I think such a platform is a great insight into budding entrepreneurs such as yourselves to understand what we did 2 or 3 decades back. And as the saying goes, history never changes, only the players in it change. And therefore, you are now representing a generation of the new set of players to pick up the baton from us. Once again, thank you very much for having me here. I would be delighted to take and answer any of your questions, queries, and doubts. And to let you know a little bit about myself, yes, I was a corporate gypsy, interfaced in a lot of domains, professional domains, and thoroughly enjoyed every bit of it as I went in and went out of it. Earlier on in my life, as I was finishing my undergrad, we had gone to see a movie called Pretty Woman. This was a movie where Richard Gere was a protagonist
Yes.
and an investment banker. And this was a movie where investment banking in India was not understood the way it was then internationally, where a jet-setting guy was going all across the world, buying and selling and redesigning companies, which is what found me as a young boy. I found it very interesting
Right.
to pursue such a career which demanded insights into technology, engineering, commercialization, finance, the art of negotiation, marketing, and cross-border cultural knowing. And I think that's what drew me to it, to understand a world that was different to what India was exposed then. And I was always a sort of a challenger, and I still am. I like to get challenged onto anything that is staid, rudimentary, and disciplined. Because I always feel discipline is for the weak.
That's a very
So-
interesting thing to say. What do you mean by that? I'm sure.
I mean that many a times in society you need discipline only to get really there, so that there's social stability for every one of us to live. That's a good side about discipline. But indisciplining your mind would get you to various angles or dimensions not thought or tried out in the past, to try out something new. And in today's world, I think that is what entrepreneurship is, to trying out something differently or to do things done in the past in a very different way.
Are you talking about creativity and creativity not having a certain standard or a certain set path, or that is what jugaad means? that thinking outside of the box or not thinking of the box at all. Is that what you are saying? That because see, discipline is what, SOP is what, organization is structure is in the end what companies do on a regular basis once they have a good selling method. If you take out discipline from the organization, it could be, I don't know, I'm not sure how that would work.
So it's a very deep subject. It's a term which can be explained in various ways. So let's look at one dimension. Discipline, where everything is known, then there is no edge. So if your customer knows what are the raw materials and the intellect that goes into a product building exercise, he may give you cost plus 5 or cost plus 10, cost plus 20. So discipline can also regulate create the creativity that you can do to a particular set of deliverables that you are exposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I would say discipline allows you to slowly and steadily create a platform of recognition under which then you can go out of the box and be your own self.
Right.
Having said that, the moment everything is disciplined, everything is rudimentary, then there is no creativity. Okay. Now, but if you challenge what is accepted, either you call it jugaad or you call it creativity.
Right.
Because you can challenge it wrongly so that you go against the law or against what is generally accepted, then you term it as jugaad.
Right.
But anything that can define the set of needs the society has, a customer has, either on a present basis or on a future basis, is creativity in the positive.
Correct.
So this is where it is. And this is how it should be. It should be a blend. What was done and what could be done. So between doing and of what is required today and of doing things which would be required tomorrow.
Right. It's a good. On what level do you implement this, and how much free way do you give? Like, it's essentially you are allowing autonomy in terms of making your own decisions along the ladder, and then allowing people to come up with solutions that may not follow a straight line, or that is not. My point is that
So
if
the
it
way
is.
I understood it, okay, so the way I understood it, and if I can share with you my practical experiences,
Yeah.
there are times where you have a eureka moment.
Yeah.
That you are going through a product prototype and you come up with out of the box kind of a thinking which could redesign that entire product engineering exercise.
Right.
The other could be a function of a feedback or a set of data points that you get out of the various interactions that you have with your employees, professional circuits, networks, customers, as to what is required, what could be done, and how differently it could be done. And
Right.
that could come in as version upgrades or a different kind of a product range that you can offer. Now here, again, there's a very thin line between product and service. I mean, if you bundle a service, it's a product. If you throw it open, it's a service.
Right.
That kind of a scenario. I think create is a function of many things. Eureka moments or analyzing, realigning the kind of data points that you have out of the various interfaces which I mentioned, and then culminating it into a feature, into what you do through an organization or by your own self.
Right.
So this can also be in self-development. Such inputs, if you ingrain it into your own self, it leads to self-development, one, or you take a stance and say, no, what I'm getting as a feedback is different to what I think, but I want to stand by it. And that is where many a times when you stand by something, while the path thereafter becomes very difficult, because then you have to market your position as the one right to what is being generally accepted, which is the challenge one takes then. So it's really up to you. What do you make out of the various inferences that you draw out of the data points that you get in your life?
Correct. And I think that if you take the road not taken, if you take in the sense that is the creative way, that is the way that people don't tread on, and it is also leads to a lot of self-development with means of you having to sell your idea, you having to market your idea to, as an organization you have to build trust, but as a human being also, to your manager you have to set it, your hierarchy you have to set it, and it is a good way to create sort of credibility of a free thinking individual that has the potential of thinking about innovative ways of doing things, and that is also, everything is good, like nothing, there's nothing wrong in it.
A different perspective to this, and the path that you take, which is not trodden upon. I mean, are you analyzing it in terms of enjoying the path that you took, or are you analyzing it as to what would have been its outcome, or what is its outcome in terms of its acceptability, its commercial success? Now, you want to take that path because you have a belief system around it that no, the world is going on a particular path, but I want to go into another path. That's fine. That's your calling.
Yes.
But if you link to that the commercial success or the overall global acceptability of whatever you're going to ultimately deliver while taking that path, then it's a very challenging situation, and the outcome of which I personally, now this is my personal opinion, attach it to fate. And I'll give you some examples. Just because before WhatsApp became successful as a social network, there was something called as ICQ. I don't know whether you were even aware. It was a generation before you.
Yeah.
ICQ was greatly accepted in my generation as something which was a social tool. But at that point of time, digital media had not taken a position in one's life or in corporate life, a position where it mattered. So it was a side tool that appeared on your screen. It's an era before apps. I'm telling you, an era before apps.
Before Android, before
exactly. So you had dumb devices.
Yes.
Okay. But ICQ was there, and ICQ got lost. But many a times, as the saying goes, you are at the right place at the right time, and that is what happened to WhatsApp.
Yes.
For that matter, rental cars, was always known to us for so many generations.
Correct.
But who thought that it could be conceptualized as an organization on a tech platform where the convenience of finding out whether a car is available for you to be picked up and to be dropped at some place at your convenience, now being called as Uber and then becoming a unicorn. There's nothing new about it. I think today is being attached a set of novelty because it's based on a tech platform. That's the silly point.
Right.
It's on a tech platform.
Correct.
So many a times one should also recognize the role of fate that is played in your life.
So you're saying that it's pretty cool what you're saying. What you're saying is that there are two ways of going about it. One is that you go down the path that is trodden by everybody and you follow a set pattern and you follow set routine. And the second point is that you either go down that path, which is a calling of yours, because if you don't go down that path, there will be a lot of regret. But at the same time, the outcome is not in your hands. It is very challenging. You don't know because it's a risk that you take eventually in the end. But it may work for you, it may not work for you. That is the point of the risk. But that is what fate, and that is what you have to surrender control upon.
I'm differentiating the path that you walk upon and the outcomes that you get while you walk upon that path.
What you do is in your control. What comes to you is not. Exactly.
See, we are slowly and steadily getting into a world where we want to control everything.
Yeah.
Believe me, many things have happened in one's life without the control of that person or that being.
Right.
And I think, therefore, just like I mentioned fate earlier, playing an important role, or for that matter, a significant role in that outcome. Similar is the situation as to what happens to you, why you do it, how you do it,
yes,
how it comes out to be. You never know. You have a partnership, you set up a partnership, you set up a company. Suddenly, that other guy, he feels, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, and walks out.
Yes.
No harm, no fault of yours.
Yes.
Now, then the calling is very different. Your tenacity to continue or either on your own or to find a new partner and still feel that you're doing what is right for you or what you're motivated upon. I think therefore there's a huge part in one's life which is non-controllable, non-definable, and it still happens. Now, whether it happens for good, it happens for bad, or it happens with no impact onto anyone's life, absolutely unknown. I think the more you embrace this set of unknowns in one's life, I think you will be able to maneuver one's life professionally, personally, socially, emotionally in the right way. Small thing related to this.
Yeah.
Commentators of any games, like I'm watching Olympics today,
Yeah.
they dissect that situation to such an extent. I really wonder whether all these thoughts went through that sportsman's mind.
Right.
Why he or she got a gold medal or a silver medal or a bronze medal, and what happened and what was the thinking behind it. Believe me, I have been a sportsman. I mean, when I was playing my sport, I was just playing my sport. You know, Sachin puts it very well. When he's facing a fast bowler, he gets microseconds to decide where to place his bat in front of that ball.
Right.
Many a time, it's subconscious. You're calling upon your subconscious to get you out of the situation or get you into the situation.
Yeah.
So many a times we analyze it to an extent that we paralyze our analysis by a whole host of inferences out of a situation where you have done it subconsciously and you have reacted instantaneously to that situation. I tend to recognize such subconscious, on the go kind of reactions. These are very valid, non-controllable, non-definable reactions that everybody in this human race have.
It's actually very soulful what you're saying, in the sense that if I had to get an inference from this, I would think that it is this calm karte jao notion that you are detaching outcome from your effort and it is not in your control and nothing is in your control. And
So
surrender.
we all have a right to take out whatever we want out of this situation. I would like to enjoy every day of my life. I would like to be happy in my life. I would not want to be committed to one particular cause in my life, and that is why what I did. I mean,
Right.
you gave a brief mention. I did investment banking. I did private equity. I ran a tech company. I dabbled with media business. I love stock markets. So all these things, because what the moment wants and I feel nice about it, I do that.
Right.
Many people, academically, this is defined, oh, you lack focus then. Because you have to be focused in life to understand something, to do things in the right way or in the expert way. And I agree with them. I bring to you the statistical data of Mozart. And it's said that if for you to master something, you require 10 years of doing that consistently or 10,000 hours. And then you master it.
Yes.
Maybe it was fate. I don't know. Maybe I mastered it a little quickly, did it and walked away.
But I would want to actually ask you that I have written this thing down that in business you do not know everything and you have one goal in mind. And what we're taught in school that if you study for so many hours and if you study this portion and if you get 100 out of 100, then you're a master of that subject. And to my opinion or to my mind, that is where the perfectionism mindset comes in, that I need to be perfect, only then I can do this, only then I'm qualified to go from second standard to third standard, to go from third standard to fourth standard. If I've studied so much, cleared my exam, passed it, only then I'm eligible. That is where the perfectionism mindset comes. Just 1 second. I just want to ask you that business requires you to know everything that the customer wants or be confident at figuring things out. So I'm sure I would have gotten a lot of insecurity based on my skill set, based on the things that I'm not good at, and then how do I sell that to my customer based on what he wants, which is in my domain but is out of my knowledge. Have you ever gotten that, or how have you dealt with it? How do you deal with ambiguity or stress of not knowing things, which is the perfectionist versus figuring out attitude that we have?
So Point number one is I don't believe the four walls of a classroom is a place where you study or you educate yourself.
Right.
I think those are one of those places, but there is also a place called life which is an ongoing class, which teaches you and which allows you to get exposed in terms of doing business. You said it rightly. You have to be a master of everything. You have to be jack of none.
Yes.
The most important aspect about being a businessman or an entrepreneur is your intention to be there. That's more important.
Okay.
Whether you have a solution to provide to the problems of your customers is a point situation.
Right.
The point situation is there is a problem. Okay, you are then in an infinite zone of solving it either through your own knowledge or through the knowledge of your ecosystem or through the knowledge of your organization.
Right.
Or worst come worst, you have the power to buy out the solution and provide it to the customer.
Right.
So therefore, the most important aspect of being in business or being in entrepreneurship is to be there in that situation. If you continue to be in that situation, then you grow in that situation. And that means your organization grows, your business grows, your revenues grow, because that is what you are doing single-handedly in a unique way.
But
everything else can be replicated.
Do you get, if you're a first-time founder, okay, and there is a situation, like, see, I've seen this a lot, that people would want to maximize on more skills rather than outsourcing it, so that they have more control about what they can do and then promise and then build. That's what a lot of freelancers also get behind. These are like initial freelancers who think I can do this and this and this and this, so I can add more value to a single client. And then how agencies work is that I will have 5 people, specialists, and I will outsource my work that I cannot do, so I can take more number of clients, and that is the kind of business. So as a businessman, I have my own securities and insecurities about what I can do and cannot do. So to what extent should I go to hone the skill myself versus outsource it?
So you touched upon a lot of aspects. But
Yeah.
let me put it this way. To own everything is your level of insecurity.
Yes.
Your level of maturity is to own the client. It is your single most responsibility to ensure that the client feels that at all points of time you are a solution provider. At no point of time, once this confidence is built in your client that you are the solution provider, that your client is analyzing you whether you are providing that solution out of your own core or out of your ecosystem or outside your ecosystem. Now, to ensure that this is a must scenario for your client, there are 3 circles, concentric circles that you need to develop. One is your own core. Second is the core of your organization. Third is the core of your outsourced consultants who wear your jackets and become part of Embeddo. The moment you have this kind of a complex offering, be rest assured that the client will not only be with you, he will grow with you. And as he grows with you, or as your set of clients grow with you, your core, your organization, and your ecosystem also grows. Because as and when you deliver the service, you are at a decision point whether you want to productize that service, own that service, or keep it at the level of your outsourced consultant.
Right.
Now, this is dynamics that any businessman or an entrepreneur goes through. You're always evaluating what is core to you, what is important to you, what is critical to you, what is non-critical to you, what is evolving, what is expendable, what can be encashed upon as top-line revenue, or it grows your profit line. Many a times, you service the client not thinking in mind whether you're going to bill him for it or not. It's
Yes.
see, at a client, you don't take a transaction return, you take an account return.
Yes.
As long as you are billing
Yes.
7 of the services that he has asked for, the 3 is okay. It is part of your marketing expense.
That's true. But then, like, as an entrepreneur, you've taken a risk of doing this, of showing up, of providing value, of saying and selling things that you don't have 100% control on. The job market that is there is built on your hard skills, and hard skills are core to what you know better and best, and what you have the best experience in. Now, tomorrow, if my business fails, God forbid, if my business fails, the insecurity of an entrepreneur would be that I am master of everything. I know how to get shit done. I know how to do this, how to do that, how to build a team, how to talk to a team, how to sell. Okay, I know all of that. But will I be employable for a core hard skill which is there? Is again an insecurity based on your skill set. Have you ever had this, or what should people think about it? Think about, or what should they maximize on?
Okay. So when you're doing business, the set of points that you evaluate, like we talk of core, non-core, all these things, are not valid while you are seeking an assignment with in a larger organization or somebody else's organization.
Right.
Okay. So as long as you don't have a timeline affixed to your entrepreneurial journey, there's no risk.
Right.
But then these are not practical scenarios.
Dreams.
You will come back to
Yeah.
me and say, at the end of the day, I need food.
Yeah.
And I eat a lot.
Yeah.
So I need lots of food.
Yeah.
So that's where the stress comes in, is that you have defined a time period to be successful commercially or economically. And that is what you're debating yourself with. So this is one part of what you asked me. The second part is, if God forbid this doesn't work and you think of jumping over, then you actually get into a discipline, what we discussed. What is the discipline? The discipline says that you need to have a particular platform. Your platform should have certain educational degrees attached to your name, and you'll be offered an opportunity, or you can apply to an opportunity. But let me tell you, don't lose time while you gain experience. And today, whether it's an Indian educational system or an international educational system, you can invest another 1 year and do an MBA on an accelerated basis, either at the IIM Ahmedabad or the ISB Hyderabad, or you can go to any US organization, institute, get your MBA, so your label is intact with 3, 4, 5, 7 years of work X, which is absolute value for money, and get into the employment market. So the point is, there's no one solution for all problems. Just like in business, there are many solutions. So between for your entrepreneurial path and your path as a professional, a seasoned, experienced professional, the solutions are different.
Yeah. I'm very happy that you said that there is not one solution that fits all. That is the basis of why we started this mixed emotions journey, because that is the idea that there is not one solution. It's not always black and white. It's not ek hi hai, only one right answer and then everything else is wrong. There can be one right answer and there can be another right answer and there can be a third right answer to it may be a direction, so on. My coming to your investment.
The best, sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
the best way to say this is what Mandela said. You never lose. You either win or you learn. Now you put it, there could be one right answer, second right answer, third right answer, fourth right answer.
Right.
Everything is right from a particular perspective.
Right.
So you always win and you learn. That's what it is.
With context. See, again, black and white, we were talking about black and white scenarios. Finance is a numbers game, and numbers are technically black and white. Is what engineering, physics, finance, investment. How much is it a numbers game? How much is it coming from experience of who it is that you're investing in? How much is it related to, say, tomorrow if a startup comes to you for an X amount of money to get funding on, how much would it be based on the numbers? How much it would be based on market size? And how much would it be based on, say, the intensity of the founder, or your confidence that, or his confidence that he portrays, and your vibe, sense, and your gut feeling? In the end, yeah.
For somebody to come in, that person puts money into your company.
Yeah.
So you're talking of valuation.
Yeah.
Light-heartedly, but what I'm saying makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Valuation is like beauty. It is in the eyes of the beholder.
Okay.
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 Valuation has quantitative and qualitative aspects. Okay. Qualitative aspects are full of numbers. So you have financial models, you discount it, you arrive at figures, you churn the numbers, you test it, you do scenario analysis, and you come to a figure.
Right.
But then there is also quantitative analysis, qualitative analysis, which is the kind of management that the concept owner is, the kind of tenacity that management has, the kind of experience it has, the kind of personas it has, the kind of scenarios under which this concept is going to be tested. So there is a lot of unknown aspects. I did nearly 160 transactions globally in private equity. And believe me, not a single business plan worked as per the first plan that they had generated. The plans kept evolving. So what did I infer out of this experience? I used to always look at the people behind the concept.
Right.
If the people are very clear in their heads, this is what they have to do in life, and this is what they want to achieve in life, whether that concept then changes over a period of time, I had no problems. We used to still keep funding them. Whether I used to work for a very large organization, a bank, a private equity fund in the valley, we had no problems. As long as there was that tenacious attitude to get on that road and to achieve. So many a times it is this. How tenacious are you to achieve what you are presenting as a helicopter pitch or a full-blown pitch or whatever towards a set of people whom you want to associate strategically or financially or both?
So again, to reiterate, it is not, even investment banking is not just a numbers game.
It's everything. It's everything. It's a bit of financial engineering. It is a bit of understanding global scenarios. It is understanding what kind of opportunities are there, whether it is getting aligned to the present set of thinking which the entrepreneurs have. It is a bit of everything. It's a lot about behavioral science too.
Okay. What about behavioral science?
It's all about the psyche of the people who is going to own the concept and run the concept.
Right.
What if I have seen entrepreneurs chicken out? I have seen entrepreneurs evaluate, I'm out of my B school, I've put in 3 years, now the top bank in the world is calling me and paying me $500,000. Why should I wait here and be frugal in my living? I'm going there.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you judge? Or how do you, is it with experience?
You just guess. You don't judge.
Is that for real?
Yeah, this is for real.
Wow.
That's what I say. Whenever events happen for the good and they happen for the bad, you will have all the commentators, all the people there give you hajar reasons. The reasons come up based on the outcome of that situation. Believe me.
Are you saying that, are you really saying that outcomes are never in your control and it is only you have to take what?
There is a huge percentage that it happens out of unknown reasons and it just happens. There are some cases where it goes as per plan.
Yeah.
See, the world and its outcome, life and its outcome, it's a very complex thing. And since it is complex, it accommodates everybody and all kinds of thinking.
There is a lot of solace in what you said. It gives a lot of comfort if you then rationalize the fact that nothing is in your control apart from your intention and your tenacity and
Exactly.
your
So that is
input.
why it is very important. It is very important that you keep enjoying every day of your life. It's only when you enjoy, you don't get in certain pressures, certain set of thinking that may not put out the best of you, that may not want you to continue, that may want you to dilly-dally on everyday affairs. Just be happy. So because the moment you are happy, you are not evaluating the entire range of emotions that are there, which is not necessary.
True, true. If I don't know, do you learn this on your experience of life, or did you go to finishing school? These are a lot of soft skill led emotion management, I would say. It is not something that, I don't know, parenting or interaction with the world. How, how do you get to be this?
It could be a bit of everything. Since I work with very large organizations, we had a lot of intense induction programs. We had a lot of employee upgradation programs where we had to go back to known universities across the world and do some courses.
Yeah.
It could be a build up of your own persona as you walk through life. It could also be a function of the decisions that you took for your own self in life.
Okay.
That made you what you are. I think time is a great teacher. If you keep your eyes open and you keep your heart and mind open to different things.
Possibilities, yeah.
Time is a great teacher. Time is a great leveler and time is a great teacher. And at the end of the day, we all die.
Yes.
Now, again, a philosopher said, everybody is dead by 75. They're only buried at, everybody is dead by 25. Some of them are buried at 75.
Yeah. It's true. That's true. No, I think I would think that this is very comforting to listen to, in the sense that everything is in your control, but nothing is in your control.
No, why pursue control?
Because it gives you some kind of a feel good dopamine that is there. It is, I don't know,
It's a choice. It's a choice.
It's a choice. If you have stress and you rationalize your way of why you didn't go, or why you didn't get a certain grade, or why you are in a situation, and then you have a comparison of, again, the choice is also based on how you think and your environment that you are exposed to, and how that environment thinks. And if you really want to change versus if you want to continue, it's quite complex to just think about it.
If it doesn't trouble you, great. You can think it that way.
Yeah.
But the easier way is let go. If it has happened, and it has not happened the way you thought, let go. Because you're getting yourself refreshed for the next day, for the next moment. Why carry that baggage?
It's easier said than done.
Believe me, yes. This is the first lesson. The fact that you realize it's an aspect, great. That's the first lesson. The second lesson is just what you said. So you know it is good, but you still don't want to do it at times.
Yeah.
And third lesson is, this is the only way out. So let go.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. You've worked across the world with so many companies and so many locations. You've been to Africa, you've been to the Middle East, India, America. Do you feel that local cultures, have a difference of attitudes of businesses, and the way that businesses communicate will have to change based on the way people's attitudes are? Or is it once you have a method of communication, it would be standard across
There is a Harvard study which states that at the core, everybody is same. The little draw that I have out of it is that the dispositions differ based on culture and regional customs.
Mm-hmm.
So when I used to sit on the board of a company in Japan, in Tokyo, so I used to go there every month, and nobody used to talk anything. They used to just go. They used to just bow. And over a communication has to come to know whether they liked it, whether we need to introduce that engineering product, whether we need a software upgrade on it. There was no There was nothing that was disagreed, not agreed, disputed, nothing. We had meetings, all the resolutions got cleared. We used to have a lovely lunch or dinner. We used to have our, and I used to be very careful because that can hit
Yeah,
your feet off.
yes.
Yeah, but and then you flew back. So many a times you have to get used to the local customs and mechanisms under which businesses are conducted. So it's quite similar, whether it was Japan, whether it was Korea, quite similar. When I sat on boards of companies in Singapore, Singapore is cross-cultural. There's a lot of Western influence, there's a lot of Asian influence, so that was okay.
Yes.
When you go into Europe, it was very straight-jacketed, very formal,
Yes.
full of culture, full of regime of doing things. How do you do it? How do you execute? And then you have the American cowboys who were absolutely fair weather brothers. So, there's a whole set. You have a range of cultures that you need to get familiar with to understand how do you conduct yourself while getting professionally involved in such organizations. And then you had Scandinavia. I had some interest in Scandinavia too.
Yeah.
Lovely set of people, absolutely. The number one and number two countries of the world which are honest, Sweden and Finland and Norway. They don't know what corruption is. They don't know why do you have to cheat people.
Yeah, what crime is? There is no crime.
Exactly, but
Yeah.
very precise in their thinking, absolutely documented in everything that they do. Not a single technical aspect missed out on all the discussions that we have had. Very properly documented. The next meeting, there's a reference to the earlier one and goes on.
Wow.
Very disciplined. So I tend to agree here that one has to, in software development, we have a customer layer, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you need to have that set of customization to be more effective, impactful, successful when you get into these kind of international regimes, professional outfits to do the things that you are supposed to do.
So you have to tailor it to people irrespective.
Yeah, that is the flexibility you need to have.
Yeah. And I would assume that, like, to its very core, any business is about selling. And selling is about essentially transferring money from your pocket into my pocket. And then that would mean that then you then set up, once the channel is set up, then you have processes, and then you have a mandated way of function, so that life goes on, business goes on, and you're continuing to make money. But everything is around something that you're solving for a particular human emotion. And what I've realized is that once you figure that out, and once you create friendship and you create harmony and you create trust, it is easier to sell than if you short sell, or if you not short sell. I'm sorry, why did I say short sell? If you create shortcuts and if you show that you are eager to sell, then you are a bad salesman, is what I'm trying to get to. Point being that the point of a business is to add value, and the value that you add is based on the need, is the emotional need to be satisfied, and then you build on that. I'm not sure if there's a question here.
So
But
let me describe it a little differently. So selling is something akin to you getting accepted as you walk into a conference room full of people.
Mhm.
Okay, your approach, your disposition will allow you to move into that room and get their attention.
Right.
In the long run, it's a function of the value that you get onto the table. Selling stops there, and then there is a delivery mechanism, which is a function of a pre-marketing exercise that you have done as to you have identified the need of your customer,
Right.
and then you have fulfilled it with your set of services, either on the product side or on the services side. The longevity after that is the acceptability of your service into that relationship.
Correct. But
And as you are successful in fulfilling the requirement of your customer, you build up the trust and you build up the strength of your relationship. This is all professional, all corporate. I'm not talking on the personal side, all professional. Okay. Whereby, even if you miss a bit of it, either by intent or by lack of product disposition at that point of time, you will be excused saying that, look, you have fulfilled 80% of a requirement, kindly tweak it to fill up the 22. The strength of your relationship will allow you that.
Yeah.
So there are these various phases that you need to understand, define, and separately handle for you to acquire a customer, hang on to a customer, and increase your relationship with your customer.
Is there a proven method to do this? Do big corporations do it? Or you have to figure it out?
No, because it is extremely unique to who you are and who the customer is.
So it's authenticity, and is that why you see a lot of founder-led marketing campaigns that are getting into this process of a lot of, I don't know if it is a lot, but I see my LinkedIn feed being populated by companies and startup founders coming on video, coming and writing a text about their journeys, about their failures, about what they learned, what they did not learn, about building in public, essentially. To the extent they are showing, look, we're trying, we are building this product, this is for you, this is the value that we're adding, these are my experiences, these are my, either you can build a distribution of potential customers, or you can build a distribution for potential employees that may want to work with you. That also could generate authenticity with the fact that this is me, here I am, trying my best to form a team, to work and deliver a product to you. And is that what you, is that a bare level authenticity that you may want to look for to work with somebody and then build on that relationship? Or is that a good tactic to have irrespective?
Like I said, it's not a one fit all kind of a solution.
Yeah.
So let's dwell a little more on that.
Yeah.
If your product is known, tried, and tested,
Yeah.
then you don't need a founder or a chairman persuasion to sell your product.
That's true. That's true.
If your product is new and nobody knows about it, nobody has realized the importance or the utility factor of your product, then you have to come up as the owner of your product and offer it to your clients, because the conviction is the highest in you.
Correct.
Since you are the owner of the product, owner of the company, and there is nothing else that you can offer but the way under which you have conceptualized this product.
Right.
Now let us look back. Bill Gates himself sold the first versions of Office.
Yes.
Do you know now who sells Office? No.
No.
Till you build a brand that answers all this question, you are then the driver of it.
So you're the brand.
So nowadays, in marketing, you also have a brand acceleration exercise.
Yes.
Where I bring in a celebrity to hit it.
Yes.
Of course, it doesn't apply to engineering, pure engineering products.
Yes.
But in a lot of consumer space, or space which requires trust, like banking products,
Yes.
there are celebrities who validate it,
Yes.
thereby making your life easier in your customer accepting it.
Yes.
Now, these are mechanisms under which you start picking up a size of the market.
Yes.
And then ultimately ensure that your product is a brand, has a story to tell, has a feeling with which it is associated,
Yes.
and then you walk away.
Very interesting, the building a brand and making it work in the market, and then using all the techniques at your disposal to behaviorally hack people's minds and sort nudge them in a way that they come in contact with your brand in whatever sense, video, audio, somebody's talking about it, celebrity endorsing it, is essentially to improve trust. And the trust is a relationship that you want to build with the customer, which is again based on a lot of human behavior. So the market for building systems based on human behavior is huge, if you have to think about it. Now, how do you optimize that, and how do you create a product that gives human behavior to you on a plate? is going to be a good product to build and to conceptualize on anyway. I think social media platforms are that only. They're building addiction reels, right? And once
Yeah.
you're on it and your friends are on it, that means the platform has trust, and then that's all. That's all that advertising is taking advantage of. So social media is a behavior, essentially your social life online. That's technically they have platformized social interaction that is human behavior and put it online, which is a good concept. What next, if not social interactions? Is a good question to ask and
No,
to.
I will go back the core there, saying that build a product which is of value. Either it addresses the present requirement of a customer or it addresses the future requirement of a customer and offer it to the customer. The core, the simplest way to introduce your product in any market. Either there is an accessible market share which you have, which you capture, or you create your own market.
Right. Yeah, what I was hinting at was that if you like, social media is a product of human behavior. Like, if I had to put it in that sense, that if I had to take social interaction, put it online, that is my product. And then I build trust around it. And if I had to conceptualize a product that galvanizes human behavior and put it on a tech platform, then that is social media for you.
So for that, if you want to do something like that, then you will have to have COEs, centers of excellence. You will have to have, say, 10 Mihirs.
Mm-hmm.
One Mihir which will do the food, one Mihir which will do engineering, one Mihir which will do media, one Mihir which will do banking, one Mihir which will do consumer space, one Mihir which will do education. Because each center of excellence
Yeah.
will have certain subject matter. You will have to present it to your set of viewers. They may or may not be your customers, but then you actually address each and every nuance of that domain as something to be known, something to be analyzed, and something thereafter to be decided on a product or a service which, through your channel, you are proposing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Speaking of media, you've been in the industry. I don't think there is any industry that you've not worked in. Maybe history or architecture or archaeology. I don't know. Have you worked in archaeology? You may have an interest in that, but okay. I guess economics is a kind of archaeology only. Economics is what? Study of human behavior over time and
Keeping money in mind.
keeping money in mind. Yes, keeping money in mind. Correct. But media, like you have had good presence in the media entertainment business, not only in the Indian film industry, but in Hollywood as well. What is the difference in businesses in terms of negotiation, in terms of say, is it? I want to ask you a very crucial question of selling. Is that if you're a good salesperson, it does not matter which industry you represent because you are technically understanding of human behavior, and then the core industry that you target is 20% of your knowledge, 80% is the core human emotion that you want to tap into and get. Like you're in the end selling to a person, selling to an organization run by people. You want to tap into core human skills. You will create a posture of standing, of behaving, of the way you're speaking. That is 80% of your work, 20% is your knowledge. Is that true across industries? And is that the core of any good salesperson to start with?
So I would not, so this is like black and white. You have defined 80-20. Okay.
When I say, is it more soft than hard? Is the I will not say
Yeah,
it's a
so,
big mixed bag. Yeah.
yeah, so I get it. So basically, I would not put percentages to it because let's say you are today getting into P&A, which is publicity and advertising of a movie, which is basically selling the movie which has been produced now and it is ready to be rolled out. You will have to have a complete understanding as to how the local distribution industry works, the international distribution industry works, how
Right.
does the digital work, how does that satellite work, what kind of selling is done, under what mechanism it is sold, what is the profit sharing mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, each and every industry, I just mentioned the media because you started with media.
Yeah.
So any industry, you will have to understand the nuances of the industry in its present format.
Right.
Now, therefore, your marketing strategy will be taking into consideration the present format along with something new that you may think of, or you may go in with the present format, or you may be a rebel and you can think something out of the box completely new.
Right.
So to do that, you will have to be embedded
Yeah.
into an industry as in wherein basis to understand one, what is there, or to improvise on what
Correct.
is there and what do you think can be there. So therefore, time to be spent in that industry is very important.
Yeah.
While your general selling and marketing skills and your interpersonal skills will help you get there faster.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, I would like, I had a different answer in mind for that question, but I agree with what you're saying to the sense that it's not about, it's not, as you said, as you so right, that I've put it into a percentage game, I've made it black and white as to this is your requirement of knowledge of human behavior and this is your, it's not, it's experience. It is your understanding of the industry and people's requirements or in that industry, which means that you have to have good knowledge of, yeah, it's not an easy answer to give. And this kind of question comes from the fact of, I don't know, the way that we, I would point to the way that we learn, that the way that our school system puts us, that there is only one answer to every question, and it is
Every thought is an answer.
sorry.
What you think is an answer, what I think is an answer.
Yeah, it's, I'm cognizant now that it is not, it cannot be one answer ever. It's a good learning to have. As I hope it becomes more subconscious so that I don't have to, yeah. But assume that as you become more experienced, your confidence in your skill set and your way of being with people would become better over time, and that then it wouldn't matter if you had to switch between industries, or doesn't matter.
So what you say is right. I just add something to it.
Mm-hmm.
When you're negotiating on the table,
Mm-hmm.
you should have a certain degree of stature
Mm-hmm.
for you to be respected on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So if you walk in and you give a feeling that you are still groping on understanding what exactly is the industry, how do you all do it,
Mm-hmm.
and are trying to learn on the table, an experienced negotiator on the other side will pick that up.
Right.
Okay. So therefore, it is very important you have a stature. Now that stature comes of what you have done in the past,
Right.
what you bring on the table,
Right.
the kind of persona and aggressiveness that you have,
Right.
the clarity of thought,
Mm-hmm.
the kind of pre-meeting work that you have done in understanding
Correct.
what
Your
is the
effort.
information required
Right.
for you to come on that table.
Right.
All that matters. Now, one small thing on the earlier topic is that I'm not suggesting that when you're doing various industry, various domain marketing, that you need time into it. Experience for me is not time. You can do it in 3 months. You can do it in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got into media business, understanding it in 6 months, and I did what I did.
Okay.
If you're willing to single focusedly get into a particular industry and understand what it is, you can get it in a couple of months. It's all up to you. To what extent do you want to dedicate yourself to a particular cause, and what do you want to get out of it?
Right. See, you are vindicating my thought process time and again by putting it all on me to make the choice. Me as a on the individual to have a choice, to have that decision, and to surrender control, and to accept that there could be multiple right answers. and to accept that not one shoe fits all, and to understand. This is exactly the theme of this podcast, and I think we're hitting it on every nail. Yeah, it's a pretty good conversation. But do you have any stress? How do you deal with stress? If you've had ever.
Ever. Because I always question if something doesn't happen my way, I go for a walk and I'm back normal.
So bad days, sad days.
It's a day to look forward to. Like I said, you either win or you learn. So when you walk and you have to do something differently.
But did you learn this over time, or you were always like?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm not born this way. I will be lying to you. At your age, I had all the turmoil.
Yes.
I was extremely aggressive. I was a go-getter. I wanted to do things, and that is what I did. My corporate life gave me jumps
Yes.
like nobody's business, because if my organization said, okay, you have to achieve this budget in 3 years' time, I would do it in 1 year. That's in my head. But suddenly I realized it's like this, that kind of a scenario. You've seen it all, you've done it all, and then you choose what you want to do in life.
Right. Back
So
in the day.
if you ask me, do you get stressed today? No. Did you ever get stressed? Yes. Earlier on in your life, as you started learning life, as you started, understanding the dynamics of life, you walk through that path.
You learn more about yourself as well, and then you.
Absolutely. Every day is a discovery. We continue to learn ourselves.
Yeah. How do you
That's
deal?
one.
Sorry.
I said that's one friendship for life.
With
Friendship
yourself.
with yourself.
You have to live with yourself back like at the end of the
There's no
day.
choice.
No choice. But it's a good thing. I don't know if you learn to understand your own nuances and what makes you tick, and
Absolutely.
it's actually a good journey to be on.
Very true.
And it's fun also if you take it that way. I don't know,
Very
like it's a good thing to look into or to think about. Okay, like I did not do well in this situation 2 years ago. If I like, and I had the same situation today, and I think I floored it and I cleared it with, and that is what is the difference. And it's a journey, and it's a pretty interesting journey to be on. Interesting is not the best word to describe it, but it is. A journey with ups and downs and lefts and rights and undergrounds and overgrounds. If you were starting, now you don't get stressed because of your life experience. But if you were starting, let's say if you were 22 years old, right out of college, 21, 20, what would you do? Number one, or what would be your advice to people who are just starting out?
I think over the generations, we all have started thinking a lot more than what we did at those ages. So
Really?
let's be honest.
Are you saying
Yeah,
that
so
we think more than you did?
yeah. Y'all are more aware too. Kids, we are the bloomers age, so we are the pre-internet generation.
Which is the best generation to be in. Y'all had no distractions.
Exactly, and that was because of lack of knowledge, lack of so much information. Your information was what came out of books, teachers, and your ecosystem.
Yeah, correct.
That was it.
Yeah.
So life was very peaceful. Life, we used to give a much more time to things that we wanted to do in life.
Correct.
Oh, it wasn't that, oh, next year I want to do this, thereafter I want to do this. You come out of undergrad, you go for you get a nice job, then you chill out. Today, it's like, what next? I think this is stressing this generation a lot.
It is.
I don't know whether it is good or bad, because every generation has their own
cross to
way
bear.
of doing things.
Yeah.
It's good. I guess it's good. If you're doing it, you're feeling it that way, I think it's good. My point is, every one of us, we enjoy our generation, the time we spend looking at life, but maybe your generation is making you all analyze, understand what happened previously, what is going to happen in the future. which we didn't, honestly.
But you're still. But okay. So my question, okay, it's a good generational difference to have in terms of an understanding. But my point still being that if you were starting again, what would you do in this day and age?
What would I do something differently?
Yeah, would you do something differently?
See, again, I'm going back to quotations, but
Please.
never regret what you've done in the past, because at that point of time, that was the best thing you wanted to do.
Correct. I agree.
And I hold to that.
So you're
I
not
hold to
changed.
that.
So you're not changed.
Yeah, I hold to that.
No. So okay, fair. You're not changed. Okay, so you'll follow the same path again, and
Yeah.
yeah.
It was a nice, good life.
Any advice for youngsters?
Keep enjoying. Keep smiling. Keep enjoying.
It's hard to do that all the
Well,
time.
that's the choice. That's the choice.
There is turmoil, there is failure, there is no emotional management.
Accept it. Simple.
Easier said than done. I will say this 10,000 times. It is.
And I will keep saying, go on to the next chapter.
Yeah, it's like you feel helpless. You feel like, what do I do next? This is so stupid, and this is so. Not why am I here, but it's in those bad phases. Acceptance is not the answer. I don't know what is.
My point is, when I look back, and if this can help you,
Yeah.
When I try to analyze the things that stressed me earlier on, the only answer I have now when I look back is that I shouldn't have looked it that way, because I got stressed because, oh, I'm missing a deadline. Oh, I'm not going to do it in next 6 months. Oh, something different is going to happen. I may not achieve it at all. And actually, I did it in some cases, and where I did, it was good because the other outcome actually was more beneficial to me.
Right.
So many a time, it's a. Can you admit yourself? Possibly you are having a wrong calling to the situation which you are now stressing on.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But then that's what you rationalizing your emotional quotient is.
Undoubtedly.
That is where you take time to.
For that, you need to have a little more white hair.
Yeah, on the way.
White hair or no hair.
Yeah, white hair or no hair. Yeah. Nitin Kanchan, this was an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Likewise.
It was really insightful, your experience. I am sure that we will be having one more session in person and getting more out of you in terms of how startups can raise investment and how you've done it all, how to get more resourceful and how to sell better. And I'm telling you, either teach or increase your impact and write a book. I'll write a autobiography for you. You can maybe sign off on that if I get. But your impact, it's really something, and the way that you are,
And I wish you the very best. I know success awaits. These are small steps towards it, and I see you there.
I will see you there as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. If you like this, then you can hit the like button. The algorithm likes it, gives me more views, and maybe I can contemplate on keeping this channel for free for you to see. If you hit the subscribe button, the algorithm likes that as well. But unlike the like button, this is more useful because you'll be actually notified by every time we do drop a video on this channel. If you have any complaints regarding the content that we drop or the questions that we ask, or you want to give us any suggestions with questions or people that you want us to interview, we have added a feedback form in the description. You are very welcome to fill that up and let me know. If you hated this content and you do not want to see my face ever again, and do not want to share it with anybody, and do not want to refer this kind of content with anyone, then until you do tune in to my next episode or my last episode, or you do tune in, I would like to wish you in Truman Burbank's very own words, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Cheers.